What's going on? This is your man Jose, aka the Dominican Dream for the Boxing Roundtable, and we are ready to talk
Boxing.
boxing.
Yes, sir.
Also, along with my man, the one and only.
The Maniac.
Let's get it. Sean, big news. Boxing is buzzing right now, and not in a good way. Keyshawn Davis. Oh, it's the camera. Keyshawn Davis misses weight by 4 pounds and change for his upcoming fight tomorrow night versus Edwin De Los Santos, tabbed as one of the most dangerous fighters, or the most dangerous fighter he has ever faced up to date in his career, but also a fighter which was chosen carefully, being that he's been off for 2 years. A lot of negative feedback. Just break it down, man. What are your thoughts about this whole weight debacle on behalf of Keyshawn Davis?
Yeah, it's an unfortunate situation, man, for both parties. First of all, boxing is a professional sport, right? You sign a contract, you and your opponent, you agree to a weight. They agreed to the limit of the lightweight division, which is 135. Can exceed that. He came in 4 pounds over, meaning he was 139 pounds and change. Now, normally 1.5 might be enough to get a fight canceled, or a fighter says, you know what, let me try to burn this pound and a half real quick in the back. They'll normally get about 2 3 hours to do so. Keyshawn made it clear, I'm not burning it. That's it. It is what it is. So it only tells me two things, right? Or it tells us, everyone, two things. One, they never planned in making the weight. That's one, right? They just said, "Nah, we ain't gonna make weight." And two, by not making weight, now the WBO, the belt, is not on the line, so it's vacant. So the only person that could win that belt is De Los Santos if he wins. Now, De Los Santos, on the other hand, he's been off for a year and a half. A year and a half. And he may wait. He may wait. Buy it. Looked like he kind of struggled. You alluded to it earlier. And you told me he looks dead. And he kind of looks dry in the face. You're right. We'll see how much he rehydrates. But the story of today is Keyshawn not making weight. And originally it was a goal still. We're gonna fight no matter what. But then I think, Sam Simlekowitz, who is De Los Santos promoter, and De Los Santos other team said, no, 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 no. We're not gonna do this. And if we're gonna do this, we're gonna be compensated nicely. Right. So that's gonna be interesting to see who and no, now how much they get paid per pound if the fight goes, because that's the only way it's gonna happen. And it gotta be no less than 200K a pound, if you asking me. And that's the only way I'm gonna take it. And and is like, yo, he gotta come in. There's a rehydration clause. He can't come in at no 160, 165. The dude gonna run me over. I'll say, bro, he can't come in no heavier than 150 if I'm De Los Santos team. So as of right now, as we speak, the fight is off. For the record, the fight is off. As per Samson Lakowitz, De Los Santos team. So we're gonna see what happens, what transpires in the next couple of hours, if the fight is gonna happen or not. But respect the De Los Santos team, man. People die in that ring, bro. People die in that ring. And it's boxing is a dangerous sport. And Keyshawn's a big boy, as you alluded to. And he's strong, man. And there's weight classes for reasons, man. And it's not that De Los Santos can't fight, bro. If I'm fighting a dude much bigger than me, bro, it really doesn't matter how good I fight. He, bro, weight classes matter. So Keyshawn obviously came in as a junior welterweight. We're gonna see what happens. The belt is not on the line. It is officially vacant. And this is, a bad look on Keyshawn's part because yesterday or the day before, he was talking very recklessly to Abdullah Mason, who's no longer a prospect. He's a contender now. And he said, "You're next." And you said all that, Keyshawn. You made a show, and look what happened. And look what happened. You couldn't even make weight. So um, I'm just eager to see what's going to transpire in the next couple of hours. Do we get a fight tomorrow, Dream, or we don't?
Well, that was definitely a lot of information, very good information. Talk to us about what this means.
So what this means is that one, Keyshawn will never fight at lightweight again, right? So that means he is headed to junior welterweight, and that's good. And in fact, I'm happy because let's be realistic. What's really at 135 for Keyshawn besides Shakur and Tank? Two fights that he's not going to get, at least right now, at least. So 140 is where all the smoke is at right now for Keyshawn. So, yes, go to 140 and figure it out. Maybe the WBO lets you fight Tio. That's the fight I want. I want Keyshawn Tio. Tio and Haney couldn't happen. Keyshawn couldn't make weight. Obviously, he's a natural junior welterweight. Go fight Tio, man. Tio Keyshawn, there's back history there. Allegedly, Keyshawn knocked out Tio's father, according to him. Tio's father, that's never happened. He ain't knocked me out. So he said, who do we believe? It don't matter. What matters is that the fight should happen because it's a big fight for one. It's a mega fight, and you're talking about
Estoy
two
haciendo algo,
fighters
estoy grabando
in their
una.
prime. So, and Tio has a belt. So there's gonna be stuff on the line.
Yeah,
So,
I
and
apologize
for
for.
De Los Santos, it can mean two things. One, he could get severely hurt here, or his team said we're not going to take the fight, and he fights for one of those vacant titles down the line. Because there's going to be two now. People forget Lomachenko just mentioned he's retiring. So that's two belts now. The WBO and what's that? The WBA. I think the A is what Lomachenko had because the IBF is. Oh no, the IBF. The IBF is what Lomachenko has. So De Los Santos could be in a good position as long as he plays his cards right.
Are you able to hear me? You hear me? Yo, yo.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
yeah.
No, I was asking you, what does this mean as far as Keyshawn Davis is concerned, as far as his career? I'm a critic. I'm a big critic of a lot of fighters who, I don't play that overrated, overhyped, hype hobbling nonsense. I think Keyshawn is at best at this point a solid up and coming fighter, although he's a champion, because he doesn't, unfortunately, anybody can be a champion now, just like Barenchik was in this day and age in boxing. But definitely, Keyshawn is by no means uh, a special talent, and he has a lot of flaw. He has a lot of flaws. He's a very flawed fighter. Even when you see him doing the mitts, he's a guy that uh, he leaves himself very open. Even watch him in his latest video doing the mitts with Floyd Mayweather. He's very mechanical in there. He's very wide. I think he did show a little bit of boxing, a little bit of wrinkles in his last couple fights, incorporating some boxing technique into his style. But what he is most of all is just a big, strong dude. And I said it to you going into this fight. I said, bro, this dude is big. He's a big boy. And when I saw the face off prior to the weigh-in, I'm like, damn, this motherfucker looks like he's a whole uh, division above De Los Santos. And remember this, Sean, when you have a fighter like De Los Santos who has been out of the ring for almost 2 years and suffered a non-boxing related injury or medical issue, which is a blood clot in his leg. Now, one of the biggest fights of a fighter coming back after such a long layoff and not being in the gym is making the weight, right? So you got a guy fighting to make weight, training to make weight. Maybe you're not even training to fight so much. You're training, you know, to make weight, and you're getting sucked dry. He does look dry, even though he does look like that usually before weighing because of his facial features. He has like a thin face and prominent cheekbones, but still, I think to me he looks more drained than ever. And then you got another guy who's bigger and stronger than ever and didn't make the weight and didn't bother to. So it was already something that we speculated as great matchmaking by Keyshawn Davis, not because of the opponent, but because of the layoff of the opponent, right? And someone that was chosen based on that. And now on top of that, it seems like you and your team are either not confident enough to go in there even Steven, or you simply can't make the weight. But I think it's more than that because when you don't even try, that means that there is a something behind it that is showing us that you're doing it purposely. And as far as $200,000 a pound, I don't think it'll go that way because who has the negotiation leverage? This is a top ranked promotion. Is Keyshawn's homecoming in his hometown. This is a Keyshawn promotion. I'm hearing that, on the posters down there. They didn't even put De Los Santos on the posters. It was just Keyshawn Davis. So, what kind of leverage does he have? Yes, if Al Heyman is active and is still, working on behalf of his fighters, he might have some negotiating leverage or some good negotiations. Samson Lekowitz, because at the end of the day, Al Heyman he's a savvy guy. He's a guy that does look out for his fighters. So is it possible that he intervenes in these negotiations and says, listen, for my fighter to fight, it's gonna take, like you said, $200,000 a pound. But trust me, I'm sure De Los Santos' purse probably wasn't even 100,000. What two
800K.
800K. So I don't think they're gonna give him 800K because of the weight. They have to come to an agreement. Bob Arum is probably not gonna kick out money like that to unless like it's from Keyshawn's purse. He wants to do that, and I don't know what Keyshawn is making for the fight. So uh, interesting news. I don't know if how much of that is grandstanding and for negotiation purposes that you just mentioned that Samson Lekowitz says that the fight is off. I think that the fight should be called off. I would call the fight off, or at least take that approach that Samson is taking. But what's gonna happen? I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm not a businessman. I don't negotiate boxing terms. I break down the sport of boxing, right, in and outside the ring, as far as the sport, people's abilities, people's tools, the decisions they make also outside the ring. And when it comes to this money, this is something that they're gonna have to figure out. But we know the scenario. We know that the most likely scenario is that the fight will continue. Um, I suggest that they don't take the fight, or unless they get very well, very well compensated. Um, Listen, I thought I was still gonna sprinkle a little money on. I would have made my prediction to be Keyshawn Davis to win the fight because of the long layoff of De Los Santos. And we've seen this movie before, Homecoming. They prepare it that way, they make it that way. So I would have gave my prediction as Keyshawn um, Davis victory, given the layoff of De Los Santos and the medical issue, but with the possibility of us seeing an upset. And I was gonna bet. I was gonna put a couple of dollars on De Los Santos because the odds were so good. Plus 540. We saw what happened last week. Ascendi shit out of Caleb Plant, and he was a plus 1100. So we know boxing, anything is possible, especially with a very good fighter like De Los Santos. He's a very good fighter, but we've said it here numerous times. Activity matters, right? Activity, lack of activity is the fighter killer. So let's see what happens. But if I was expecting De Los Santos to have a chance, and not as big as a chance as he would have had he been active, I think that chance has just diminished greatly, given the tremendous weight difference and size difference that and the layoff and the size difference that we're going to see tomorrow night.
Yeah. No, I mean you pretty much nailed it. And the reason why I say, I mean, I agree. I don't think he'll get 200K, but to me, that's where you should start your negotiating at. Because again, remember, this is a sold out event. This is a sold out event. So De Los Santos is like, yo, you, this is gonna be on you, not me. Your people are gonna be mad at you. I did everything on what the contract said. I did everything well. So
A-
Keyshawn,
a- Absolutely, Joe. 1 second, Sean. Sorry.
yeah,
Absolutely, Joe says, "Welcome to the show." Says, "Yeah, it's just disrespectful." Uh, we also have Tim Jones. Welcome to the show. Says, "I'm going with Edwin." Let's see. Uh, Absolutely, Joe. It needs to be 200K a pound. Laughing
yeah,
emojis. Um,
yeah. It's nah.
not Tim. Absolutely, Joe responds. With all due respect, though, but Davis was already going to beat him. Now he really will. Exactly, and that's exactly what we're talking about. That's the most likely outcome given, everything, all the circumstances going into this fight.
Yeah, and it's again, it's something that as boxing fans you don't want to see. Whether you're a fan of either fighter, fan of Keyshawn or not, at the end of the day, us paying fans, paying subscription for ESPN, it's not free. We want to see a fight, right? But we also want to see it a legitimate fight. Now this doesn't really become as legitimate as it should be due to the weight difference. So look, the only thing I could say that could salvage this is if De Los Santos go in there and surprise us and he drops Keyshawn. Probably not. I don't think that's gonna happen, but I think that's part of the reason they came in because they want to absorb that shot. They understand that with that layoff, one thing that's not going to go away is your power as a fighter, right? What they say, the last thing to go, any fighter, is the power. So we know they know De Los Santos is a dangerous fighter. He's an explosive fighter. At any given moment, he could give you that dynamite. He could be losing and then bang. So they want to absorb that,
So,
man. They want to make sure that they good. So
you brought up some good points there. You just reminded me of something, of another point that I have to make. Tim Jones though says they're trying to get a cherry pick. It's gonna go wrong, and the reason that Tim Jones says that is because we all remember what happened with, uh, for example, the opposite scenario with Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. Well, Ryan Garcia was the one that came in heavy, but when Ryan came in heavy, everybody looked at it, including the Haney's, looked at it as, oh, this guy ain't even training. We know he's mentally off, he's drinking, he's doing whatever. Yeah, we'll take the fight, no problem, because this dude, he's not even training, he's not even making the weight. The weight's not gonna be a problem. I'm gonna still beat his ass, whatever. Okay, he went in and he lost. So they felt like it was a cherry pick moment, the Haney's, and it went wrong, right? Even though it was the reverse scenario. Now, with that being said, Sean, him possibly hurting Keyshawn Davis and them knowing that he has the ability to. Now, I mean, this is almost unanimous. Even his own people are shitting on him. His own fans. They're all everybody's shitting on Keyshawn, and rightfully so. My point is that if it's a lose lose, because if Keyshawn blows him out like nobody has, and he makes him look horrible and it just beats him, to makes him all bloody and just beats him down, people are gonna be like, yo, that's corny, man. Yeah, like that. We don't want to see that. We know why you did that. We know why you were able to do that and nobody else was. Man, that shit is whack. Two, if De Los Santos not not only wins but looks good and drops Keyshawn, people gonna be like, yo, you tried to come in heavy on him and you still was getting that work. Shit, you tried to come in heavy on him, you did whatever, and you still got your ass whooped. So it's a lose for Keyshawn come tomorrow night.
That's a fact. That's 100%. And that's the sucky part. So the best thing he can do is just steamroll De Los Santos. So at least it's just like, yup, we know that I had the advantage. I mean, he's not gonna say that, but he's gonna like, well, you still gotta fight, you still gotta go in. And we'll see, man. We'll see what he does at 140. I mean, first things first, we'll see tomorrow. Hopefully De Los Santos, like I said, part of those negotiations should be a rehydration clause, because if they just gonna let Keyshawn rehydrate to any weight, it is really gonna get ugly. You already came in 4 pounds, so I say, yo, no more than 150 tomorrow morning. You can't be no more than 150. So it's gonna, again, I'm eager to see. And a lot of this probably won't get disclosed, because a lot of the times this happens backdoor negotiations, and they're gonna say is that an agreement was agreed to and the fight is gonna go on. They're not gonna really, there'll be speculation. Oh, 150 a pound, 90,000 a pound, but normally there's not a real definitive answer regarding, what was the negotiation. So we'll see what happens, man. But there's other fighters on that card. You got Abdullah Mason, a fighter who Keyshawn was pretty much trying to disrespect, trying to sun him in front of everybody, talking about you next. Let's tell Bob right now, you next. So how's he looking now that we know that fight ain't gonna happen no time soon, because Abdullah Mason made weight and Keyshawn is on his way to 140.
Yeah, I mean, look, I told you, in my opinion, again, I'm gonna go. One thing you guys gotta know, Tim, um, absolutely, Joe. I'm one of the biggest exposers of hype jobs, or people that are overhyped, that may be solid but are made to look, or trying to be passed as great as this. Oh, we can't believe it. And that's what they're trying to do with Keyshawn right now, and he's selling in his hometown. So expect Top Rank to do that. They love hyping fighters up, and we've seen fighters get exposed in the past, and Top Rank fighters especially. So look, it's only a matter of time, and even though the odds are stacked against De Los Santos, that shit could even happen tomorrow, man. But again, going forward, Keyshawn will get exposed. He will get outboxed or beat up and knocked out. Probably not tomorrow, given the circumstances. But look for his lack of technique, and for his uh, where he places his hands when he punches. He leaves himself open a lot. Look for that to be exposed later on, if he fights the correct opponent within a certain given time.
Yeah.
Anyway, man, this is a quick show, quick live. We're still gonna watch the card. Shout out to De Los Santos for coming in and after a 2-year layoff and making 134 pounds. Um, he did what he had to do. Um, he came to the table. He met his end of the bargain. So now let's see. I applaud the decision by Samson Lekowicz, and let's see what they come up with. It's going to be interesting to see how the story develops, going into tomorrow night.
Facts. Um,
You guys already know, man. What else, Sean? Anything else you want to add, real
no,
quick?
just real quick, the co-main event, lightweight, contender, absolutely.
Absolutely, boxing.
My man White Claw. My man
Yeah,
White
we got.
Claw.
Yeah, we gotta go on here. We gotta give you a little break, Sean, and let's let absolutely boxing give us his one of his eccentric takes. Bro, talk to us, man. What are your thoughts?
That's what I do. Hey, good to see you guys again. It's all love from this side.
Yes. Same to you.
Hey, shout out to Tim Jones in the comment.
Yeah.
Absolutely Joe, absolutely boxing. It's the same thing. Um, so Tim Jones, good man down there. We were chopping it up back and forth, but um, what specifically do you want me? Do you want the White Claws take on?
No, man. Listen, the hot story, right? We want to know what your opinion is um, about Keyshawn Davis making is not missing weight by 4 pounds, and it's looking like he did it purposely. I don't know if he chose to even try to make the weight after the weigh-in. So talk to us about that. And him fighting a guy that's been 2 year layoff, but is a dangerous guy. Does that have something to do
Yep.
with it? Is he not confident? Is he simply too big for the weight anymore? Is it has he always been too big, or is it is it a combination of all of those things? And tell us how you feel about it.
Look, I agree. I don't want to regurgitate a lot of the things that you said because, you kind of hit a lot of it on the head. But the fact of the matter is the unprofessionalism and the ridiculousness of it is it's off the charts. Like, and the fans suffer for it because right now it's not a title fight. It's not anything anymore. And like you alluded to earlier, it's a lose-lose situation. It's a lose-lose situation. It doesn't matter if Keyshawn wins, and it doesn't matter if he loses. I mean, at this point, I'd much rather him lose just to get rid of him. Because if you lose, if you root, I like Keyshawn. I know he's a give or take kind of guy, but I like him. I think he's good for the sport. But
True.
these kind of things just they leave a bad taste in your mouth coming up to his next fight. And it's like, what Davis are we getting now? And um, there was no talks of 140, but all of a sudden there is. Like I thought we were talking about unifying. I thought we were talking about undisputed. I thought we wanted to clean everything out. But all of a sudden now I can't make weight, and so now I'm just going to go to 140. That was your explanation. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's really just massively disrespectful to the fans.
It is. And it's a strategic move, but an unprofessional strategic move.
The
Because
under
that's not
is an underhanded one.
yeah.
It is.
And you don't and look, and this is why it's kind of mind-boggling. You claim you that dude, right? You like that. Ain't nobody could beat you. You ready? So why you need an advantage for against De Los Santos? Go in there, let the world know. Nah, 140. Let's get it cracking. So now he gonna go in there. He's probably gonna limos De Los Santos. It'll probably be slightly competitive, but it's probably gonna be similar. That he's just gonna run through him. And then after the fight, he's gonna talk like he just knocked out Tank or like he knocked out Shakur. And people, his fans, they're gonna, in the words of my brother Dream here, they're gonna gobble the hype. Oh, it don't matter. He's still that dude. Okay, you just gotta let people bask in their glory. I promise you, at 140, it's gonna happen for him. Unless they go strategic
It,
at
it, ne-
140.
no, and they're gonna do that, and it depends on two things, Sean. It depends on that the matchmaking at 140, and Top Rank is great at matchmaking to hype their fighters up, and it also depends on the status of 140, as far as who's still gonna be there and who's still gonna be cooking at 140.
Correct. Right. So if we look at it right now, the champions at 140 are Alberto Puello, Richard Hitchens, um, Gary Russell Jr., and Teofimo Lopez. All four of those fighters, I think, maybe they all got a good shot of beating Keyshawn. And
Well,
they'll
well,
probably
well,
be
well. Two of those definitely beat Keyshawn, and that's Gary Russell and Teofimo Lopez. Puello, I think he's towards the end of his career. I'm seeing some
listen.
decline, even though,
I,
but
I'm gonna
but
tell you about Puello though. What people forget, man. The dude is an underrated boxer, man, and his power is underrated. Now, by no means I'm calling him a puncher, but he's just not a fighter you're gonna stand in front of. Gary Russell Jr. learned that, right? He couldn't just walk Puello down because
but
he like, yo, bro.
it's been more about his last two performances or his last performance. He didn't look great.
Yeah, but he no, listen. But and remember, Puello beat, and then Puello fought um what's my name? Martin, Sandor Martin. And we
Hmm.
said it here. Who looks good against Sandor Martin? Nobody. Nobody. Right? So He went in there. It was a close fight. By it, I was there. That was at the Barclays. That was under the Tank and Roach fight. But he still got it done. My point is that Puello's a fighter that people's not going to give him a shot, but he's always going to have a great shot of winning at anybody at 140. I don't care, even Teofimo Lopez. He'll have a great shot at beat. I won't favor him against a Teo, but he'll have a very good shot because he could box, he could move, and he's a
Not
smart fighter.
Puello or Keyshawn.
Puello.
Okay, all right,
No,
all right.
Keyshawn, look, Keyshawn, he's still, like, he can be him, but
He's not there
he's
yet.
just
He's green. He's green,
very
man.
green.
That's the thing.
He's still in the developmental stage. And oh, what you mean? He a champion? Okay,
No,
bro. Barenchik was a champion. He didn't have nothing. He didn't have anything. We seen, bro. There's so many. William Scott was a champion. What did he have? Right. So don't talk to me about that championship because unfortunately in boxing today it doesn't mean much.
Yeah.
nobody at 140 is green. All four of the champions at 140 have been through some things. Some more than others, like we just talked about. So, your decision to say haphazardly to go up to 140 is it's foolish. Because you ain't, they'll give you your title shot. They'll take the star power. They'll take the money that would be gained for it, and you'll lose. And then where are you at? Well, the likelihood, like we're talking about
Yeah.
Playo. I agree. I agree with both of you. Playo and Hitchens being the lesser of the four champions, but their pedigree is still much higher than Davis's. It really is.
Yeah, and it's no knock, to Keyshawn, right? I don't have no bone with him. Again, he's a loudmouth to me, braggadocious. And he thinks he's better than what he is. Now, by it, like you said, he is good for the sport because the way he market himself, which I do salute him for that. He does a good job at that. Hey, you can't blame the man for selling himself. I get that. But when you look at him fight, let's just be real. There's nothing there that says, yo, nah, this guy, when you see Bam Rodriguez fight, you say, God damn, that's a motherfucking dog. Woof,
You're
woof.
right.
You know what I'm
You're
saying?
right.
Certain, the fighters you see, and you be like, damn, Keyshawn doesn't give me that. Now, I'm not saying he can't reach that level. He can. Who knows? I like I said, I don't got no riff with Keyshawn, but I just feel that he thinks he's better than what he is, and he needs to humble himself
Yeah, I mean,
because humble
and that's
pie
why
at 140 is there.
that's what happens. You get delusions of grandeur when they're being hyped up a certain way. And like you said, I think he's more of a character. He's a young kid. I like the fact, and I applaud him for overcoming his mental issues, which he suffered from in the past, and doing good in life and doing good in boxing. But this is not the way. It don't look good. It don't look good. And De Los Santos is a good fighter. He's one of the few, to me, very talented Dominican fighters. Even though we have quite a few solid fighters, but yeah, I don't like it, and everybody's not gonna like the way this went down. Um, tomorrow night, let's see what happens, but it definitely takes air out of the fight.
Also, it sheds a different light on how he came out of Dula Mason yesterday. Like that whole exchange and how he was bullying him, and Bill Mason's a humble kid, and Mason handled himself just fine with him. But like, why do that now? Why would you do that to that kid? Someone
Correct.
someone in your stable, someone right? You guys like when you're stable mates, right? Moving forward, like you got to settle down. So it's like, why would you do that when you're on the same card and like you both had, you're both main attractions on a card. So I get you want to take your time with someone, but don't come at a young kid who's even a lot more greener than you are, knowing that he's not gonna talk junk to you. So that
Well,
makes that whole
he,
situation a little fishy.
well, he's young, immature. He's trying to put on for his fans over there. And remember, he did the same thing to Teofimo Lopez, even though he approached it much more humbly. right? Because he ain't approach Tio like that. He's like, yo, why was you talking? So he likes to do that kind of stuff, and he likes to, what's the term that you had used that Sean uses, man? He likes to stir the pot. He likes to stir the pot. So, and he likes to stir the pot. It looks like to your point, absolutely, Joe. Which is this is where I thought you were going with it. He likes to stir the pot, even though he's not going to do anything, because he was talking like that to Tio, but he didn't, he didn't fight Tio. He's talking like that to Keyshawn, but he's not going to fight Keyshawn. So, again, that's called clout chasing. That's what that's called.
Yeah.
Well, apparently now he's going to have to want to fight Tio, huh?
Yeah, that's the fight. And that's the fight on Wednesday on the Four Corner show. I mentioned that absolutely. I said, listen, because even before this, unprofessional, not able to make weight. Let's be realistic. Absolutely, Lomachenko just retired, right? After De Los Santos, the big sharks at 135 is Shakur and Tank. Keystone is not going to fight either of those guys. No time soon, at least, right? At least no time soon. So then it was only up for him, 140. What he's going to do? Just stay around and fight mandatories, European dudes, African fighters. Come on, man. Nobody wants to see that. But now it seems like he has no choice. So
He
it's going
also
to be
said
interesting.
he also said he also said that he will not fight Raymond Murtadatiev.
Oh, Murataya.
Yeah, Moritayev, right? He said I'm not going to fight him. He's saying that he's paying for his WBO belt. He doesn't want to pay for an IBF belt.
Yeah.
So I don't know where he's going with that, but again, just like we talked about earlier, you talked about unifying this division and being undisputed, but now all of a sudden it's 140. And even before you even lost your title on the scales, you already said you weren't going to face Murtataliev.
Yeah.
Like why? He just got the belt. He just became the full champ once Lomachenko retired. Like why
Yeah.
wouldn't you want to fight him? Why wouldn't you want that belt?
Yeah. And you just look at the chat, man. Everyone in the chat is all in agreement, man,
Yeah,
that
shout
this
out
is
to
wrong.
Al Bowen. Never seen him on the show. Al Bowen. Keyshawn has the bigger advantage. Not cool at all. And from the names of these guys sound they are like American fans. They're not even Latino fans or particularly Dominican fans that are trying to be biased. This is almost unanimous all
No,
across the board, Sean,
yeah,
all over
nah.
YouTube.
This shit ain't got nothing to do with Spanish or black, bro. We all but look. I'm Puerto Rican, you're Dominican, absolutely Caucasian. We here talking boxing. So if he came in at the 140 limit, we won't have this conversation. Hold on. Why, mommy? Go, Scarlet. I'm sorry, my little daughter. She's just going crazy. So, that this is all on Keyshawn. And what makes it even worse, guys, is that it's his first defense, but it's at home again, right? Norfolk, they came out for him. And I'm pretty sure this is a sold out fight. And this is how you repay these people. A lot of these people are hardworking people, bro. And now it's in jeopardy of them have to get reimbursed their money back because the fight might not happen. So there's a lot of factors here. It's just not him not making weight. It affects a lot of people. People flying in, people driving in, spending money on hotels. Like those are the things that people do, man. And that sucks. And that's trash. So I just hope that Keyshawn gets it together. He better not fight at 135 again. Because if he fights at 135 again, he's gonna get nuclear.
He
Absolutely.
is.
We're gonna
He
nuclear
is.
him. Because how is
Absolutely.
it that you couldn't make weight for De Los Santos, but now for the next fighter, you can make weight at 135. So he better go to 140 because if not, he's really gonna get cooked. So look, man, I'm just let's see what happens. There's a bunch of cards tomorrow. Europe, MVP. There's like about 4 or 5 cards on the zone, but ESPN is the card we're all gonna be, having our eyes on. But how much now, knowing the advantage Keyshawn has. We're just looking just to see how De Los Santos performs. And honestly, I'm eager to see Abdullah Mason because with 2 titles being vacant at 135, and those were 2 top-ranked fighters, guess what Abdullah going to get very soon? As a matter of fact, if he beats Nakahila tomorrow, Jeremiah Nakahila, he is going to get a title fight. If not the end of this year, I'm pretty sure early next year. But Top Rank has first dibs on those belts. I promise you that absolutely.
Gotcha. Hey, side note, tonight we got a prospect card. It's Hall of Fame weekend up in New York, and we got a prospect card tonight. And my boy Stan Wright, the Black Shogun, is the main event. He's from North Carolina. We did an article on him a while back. We did some interviews. He's just a great guy, and he's the main event tonight on the DAZN card. So everybody,
it's on DAZN, right? Absolutely.
Yes,
right,
it's on DAZN. There's actually 4 good fights. There's
Are you going?
Cruz. No, I can't make it up there. I mean, that's a 6-hour drive for me.
Oh, where is it?
It's in Verona. It's up like
my man is fighting the Alien King.
Who Hicks, Joseph Hicks is fighting Wendy Toussaint.
My man, Wendy the Toussaint. Alien King. He's fighting Bryce Mills.
That's an earlier card. It's probably on around now, actually.
He's fighting the Alien King. That's my guy, Mr. B. Peoples. Oh shit. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna, as a matter of fact, as soon as we get off this live, I'm gonna 100% go jump on DAZN, man, and watch that. Because it's a lot of fights this weekend. And bro, just speaking of fights, this summer is retarded.
Crazy.
July, bro, the July schedule is, bro, with the exception of the first weekend of July, the second weekend, Friday the 11th, the Amanda Katie Taylor 3, all-female card. July 12th, the Balanga Shiraz Shakur Severa Buello Matias, the return of David Morrell, crazy in Queens. And then the next week, three, yo, bro, you got the Bois Usyk rematch. You got the return of Bam. He's unifying against Cafu, right? And then also you have Pacquiao versus Barrios, all on the same day, bro. And then the next
and Sunday, one of your favorite fighters, showing Junto Nakatani.
Oh, and Junto's fighting Sunday.
Junto.
Love my brother Junto, the sniper.
30 victories with 23 knockouts.
And then the 26th of July, a week after the 19th, Xander will be he will be fighting for a vacant title here at Madison Square Garden, the theater. And you got the return of Emiliano making his New York debut on that card. Shout to him. We got Shushu. Yo, bro, boxing is in the frenzy right now. Summer is like Smack has Summer Madness. This is Summer Madness for boxing, man. I'm just so excited. I can't wait. And it starts tonight all the way to sometime in August, man.
Yeah, and we got your boy Norman Jr. Your guys are like Norman Jr. so much. He's next week he's gonna be in Japan. He's gonna lose his belt to Jin Sasaki. So that's gonna be fun to watch.
Don't tell Johnny that.
Don't tell Johnny. I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna get filled up with some White Claws, and next time I see him, I'm gonna get right on with him. I know how much he loves Brian Norman Jr.
Yeah, he was out. He went to his gym in Atlanta.
Your boy Johnny's biased. He goes, he hangs out with Edgar Berlanga, so he loves Berlanga, and then he hangs out with Norman Jr., so now Norman Jr. is good. Norman Jr. ain't good, and he's going to see next week. Your boy Johnny's going to get his heart broke next week. Next Saturday, he's getting his heart broke.
And we getting this summer, we getting Tank Roach too, and on that card, we getting Oshaki Fulton. Yo. Stop the boxing, man.
Stephen Fulton Jr. going to be a 3-division champ.
This is gonna be a hot summer for boxing, bro. No complaining at all. It's gonna be a good summer, bro. And hopefully the fall is no different. And then in September, a casuals fight. Not that I'm too big on it, but you get the Canelo Crawford, and hopefully we get the return of David Benavidez this year too.
Yeah, yep,
So it's
yep.
gonna be interesting, man. But anyway, look,
Also,
man, let's
also
wrap
next
it
week.
up.
I'll wrap it up. Also next week, one of my favorite things. I know it's not popular, but the WBC Super Series, the World Super
Yeah,
Series. Have you
bro.
guys watched any of
No,
that?
you know what? No, you know why, bro? Absolutely. I saw one card. It was 7 hours long. I said, hell
It,
no. I'm not sitting 7 hours. I
they're
watch all the fights. Bro, he had three. Series 1, Series 2, Series 3.
Yeah,
And
it was 4 days.
they were all like 6 hour cards. 7. I
Yeah,
said, hell no. Bro, I
yeah,
gotta
they
be
did
like in
28 fights.
solitary confinement to watch all of that shit.
Well,
But it's good.
they were the first round. It was the eliminators, so now it's half the fights. It's basically a round robin tournament, right? Between prospects from around the world. It's so cool. So I just enjoy watching it. Just to see like the world, somebody from Germany fight somebody from Japan, and somebody from, Congo fight somebody from Australia. So
Yeah,
I mean,
it's good
they're
though. No,
tough.
I like it. I like the
Yeah, yeah,
concept.
yeah.
It's good. But
Yeah.
also anyone in the chat, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, man, make sure you do. It's the Boxing Roundtable. It's me, my brother Dominican Dream. This is my brother, Absolutely Boxing. Also follow him on Instagram. My brother be cooking. He's interviewing fighters. He's at Fights Live, and he's from Philly. One of the dudes in the chat, Al Bowman. He's from Philly. So holla at my man, absolutely, Bowman. We
Yeah.
fuck with Philly heavy
To,
here. I love
to,
Philly.
Yeah.
to answer Tim Jones's Roach, to tank what Tarver was to Roy Jones. I don't think so. I don't think so. Unfortunately, it's gonna sound like I'm taking credit away from Roach, who came and did what he had to do. I think it was more of a bad performance, and every fighter is allowed to have that, and every
Yeah,
fighter has that from uh, Javante Davis. I think in the rematch, Javante would address that, and we should see that no, he's not what Tarver was to Roy Jones.
I'm riding with Tim Jones here. Tim, yes. Uh, Roach is gonna pull the Tarver on him. Let's do it. White claws.
All right, man. But all right, man. Let's wrap it up, man.
All right,
It's been a
guys.
good show, impromptu show,
Talk to you
and
soon.
you guys already know, man. Share, like, and subscribe. See y'all next time.